Hello, welcome to another episode of Gotham. Today we have a very special guest, and he is R. Rajagopal, who was the editor of the Telegraph for from 2016 to 2023, and he worked for this newspaper for nearly 3 decades. And I'm so happy that he agreed to speak to us. And Mr. Rajagopal served as editor, as I told you, and for last 3 decades. And he earned a reputation for bold, fearless journalism and memorable, eye-catching headlines that often set public discourse and held power to account. Now he is a resident of Calcutta for last 3 decades, and Mr. Rajgopal has been consistently voting in various elections held during these 3 decades. However, he recently found himself in the news for all the wrong reasons during the special intensive revision of electoral rules, which actually I would like to call the SR regime. Ahead of the West Bengal Assembly election, his name was deleted from the voters list on ground of logical inconsistency. And he was one among the nearly 27 lakh voters affected by this SIR exercise. Subsequently, he also couldn't renew his passport and he missed an important event in the US because his passport was not renewed on time. Now for last few days, it has come to earlier, we didn't know about it, but recently, for last 3-4 days, I first saw it on Twitter, and it was Paranjay Guha Thakurata's Twitter. I first saw it, and I did a small video on this. And of course, meanwhile, we came across his interviews with the aware and others, and I was very keen to interview him on this. So I'm so happy that you could agree to speak to us, though I spoke to you only this afternoon and you readily agreed to be interviewed. Now, first, I welcome you to this interview.
Thank you.
And my first question is uh, I would like to know a little bit about your early life, like when you were born, where you were born, where did you go to, where did you do your schooling and higher education, and etc. There is a there's a reason for asking this question. First question.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I was born in 1968. The year is very important because 2 years later, that's in 1970, April 1st, that was when India made the registration of births and deaths compulsory. So I was born 2 years before that. And then I went to school run by Ananda Margis initially, when my very initial till class 3. Then I studied in a school. Many of my critics will be surprised. I studied in a school where Sanskrit was one of the compulsory subjects, because people accuse me of all kind of, I don't know anything about Indian culture, history, and all this. But I studied Sanskrit till class 10 in a school called Sri Vidyathiraja, that Vidya Mandir, that is the school's name. Then those days in Kerala, schooling was only till class 10. So your matriculation ends at the school leaving, you leave school after class 10 and you go to pre-university, it's called pre-degree. So I went to a college called Marivanius College. It was a Christian run institution. There I studied humanities in the first 2 years. After that graduation, I did from the same college. I graduated in economics. Then in 1989, I graduated in economics, and then I worked in a Malayalam newspaper. It's an afternoon daily. I worked as a reporter there. I covered the Kerala Assembly, and then as a cub reporter. And simultaneously, because it was an afternoon daily, my evenings were free because afternoon daily the work happens in the morning, and your work is over by 12:30, 1 o'clock, maximum 2 o'clock it's over. So after that, I did a course in journalism from the Trivandrum Plus Club. And after I finished that, those days, the Times of India group, Bennett and Coleman used to have a center called, I don't know whether it's still there, a Times Center for Media Studies in Daryaganj, New Delhi. So they had a very good scheme at that time, the project, because they used to conduct tests in all the states in India and choose two or three students, journalism students from each state in India. And they were trained in journalism in Daryaganj. And it's a very inclusive course. It was because every state from India is somebody. And not only that, instead of charging a fees on the students, the Bennett Coleman, the Times of India group used to pay us money. It is not like the way journalism is taught now. It's the other way around. The newspaper will pay you. It's a stipend. It was only 500 rupees, but it was a very, very big help for us because we didn't have to pay any fee, absolutely free, and we get money. And some people, if you want accommodation in hostel, that also was provided. It was an excellent course. It is undoubtedly one of the best journalism courses in India. Now I don't know whether they expanded to management studies and other things, but currently I don't know what. So I finished journalism diploma. One I finished from Trivandrum, and then it's Times of India's Times Center for Media Studies course. And then Times of India asked me to go to, appointed me in Calcutta Economic Times. So that is how I'm coming to Calcutta first time in 1991 after my finishing the course. In fact, I reached Calcutta 2 days before Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated in Tamil Nadu. So it is a very vivid memory when I came to, then there was a Bandh in Calcutta, and so I had to walk to, so I was not very familiar with Calcutta roads and all that. So this walking and not just one day, other days also, it helped me discover Calcutta. I immediately fell in love with Calcutta. The moment I set my foot on Calcutta, it was a love at first sight with a city where I've never been before. But all Malayalis, I think every Malayali, inside every Malayali, they harbor love for Calcutta because it's in their all their dream about political dream, their things, their romance, everything. Calcutta novels, almost all. If you ask a Malayali of my age, they'll be able to reel off at least 10 Bengali authors just like that, without any of this thing. Which I don't think many Bengalis can list the names of Malayali authors, though there are excellent Malayalam authors. Filmmakers they may, but authors. But I'm talking about authors. In fact, Simabatha, the very famous novel, and which was later made into a movie by Satyajit Ray. I had read that in Malayalam actually. I have never read it in English or Bangla, or I can't read Bangla, so I've read it. Already I'd read it in by the time I reached Calcutta in Malayalam, and I'd seen the movie also. So every Malayali I think has a soft corner for Calcutta. So it was not Bombay, Delhi, New York, and all that happened later. So for me, Calcutta. So then I worked in Economic Times for a year. After I was a trainee there. After that, Anandabasa Patrika, they had a business paper called Business Standard. So they called me, and that is how I am first coming in touch with Anandabasa Patrika. Then I worked in Business Standard Calcutta for a year, and then Business Standard launched a Delhi edition. So I was sent as a junior sub-editor. I was asked to transfer to Delhi. Then while I was there, then I moved to India Today. India Today magazine then was a fortnightly, not weekly like this. So I worked there in the business desk. I was in the business rewrite desk. Then Business Standard wanted to launch a Bombay edition, and so they asked me whether I would, because I had already worked in Delhi edition. They got in touch with me and asked me whether I would like to go to Bombay. So I said, they sent me there. And eventually, so basically, by then I had married also. I was moving, me and my wife, we were like a football, from one for work. All young people, I'm sure even now it will be like that. You don't settle down in a city first. Now you just move around and mobility and all that. Then 1996, I joined Telegraph as a joint news editor. And after that, I became news editor, and then I became deputy editor in charge of news operations in 2007. And 2016, I was made the editor, and I continued to be editor till 2023 September, after which I was promoted to a very, very uncommon designation, which was editor at large. And so there is a lot of. It is actually I was kicked upstairs. That is the exact word for that. Though it was projected as a promotion, why I'm saying kicked upstairs, but it was a promotion, but my responsibilities were severely curtailed to just writing one column a month, not fortnightly or weekly, one column a month, and training new recruits. But as you know, print media hardly recruits any people there. So I didn't have any. I did not train anyone. I was an editor at large for more than a year. But I never got the opportunity to train anyone. I wrote one column a month, and then 2023 February, middle of February, I resigned from there. So my association with the Telegraph, which was around nearly 30 years, 29 years, ended like that. Since then, I have not been working. I have, if universities and others call me, I go and speak to them. Then a lot of this civil society meetings and also I used to take part. Then I've been since then I've been splitting my time between Calcutta and Kerala. Calcutta we have read because why Calcutta and Kerala? Because one I told you, like, I fell in we all of us, my family considers Calcutta as a real home because my daughter was only 3 months old when we came here. So she considers practically the ASP, and my son was actually born here. In this very flat where I'm speaking to you in Dover Road. So he was born in a nursing home nearby, and this is the first home and only home he knows. So they don't want to leave. They consider Calcutta as their home. So they are not in Calcutta. My daughter is in California now. She is working as a reporter there in a newspaper. My son is he was in Delhi. One university. He was teaching. He studied there and he was teaching temporary post. Now he is doing some field research. So this is where. And this house is very, very close to us because 23 years we have been living in this flat. It is from here that in the year 2005, I applied for my very first passport in my life, in 2005. And the very same house, the very same address where the police did the verification. And again, that 2005 passport got expired in 2015, 10 years it expired. Then 2015 again, from the very same house, I applied for renewal and it was granted after police verification in the same house. Then now in 2025 October, my passport again, the 10 years was over. It got expired. Then again on February 2026, I applied for renewal, and that is when. So in between, and let me add one. In between, so there's one small correction there. I was not a voter in Calcutta for the 30 years. I was initially my first voting happened in Kerala in 1989, but after that, because I was moving around like from one city to another, and I never renewed. After that I have never renewed the. Kerala, my vote, and so possibly that vote was in the fresh enumeration. It was not renewed. My name is no longer there. So Calcutta, from this address, I became a voter only in 2010. So that is why my name was not there in 2002 list, which is valid. I don't suspect any foul play or anything. I was not. I can't remember. So I think that I became a voter only. That in 2010 I was a voter. I'm absolutely sure because my card mentioned that. Before that I was not an voter. So when SIR happened, I could not map my name to 2002, which is it is a genuine. I could not do it. But what surprised me most was in Trivandrum, my father's name could not be found in the 2002 list. Why my father's name became extremely important is under the SIR rule. Either the voter's name has to be there in 2002 or his close relatives. And in Bengal, the definition of close relatives is your two biological parents and your four grandparents. The paternal side's two grandfather and maternal side two fathers. So total 7 people. That is self plus 2 parents plus 4 grandparents. In my case, other than my father, my mother and my all grandparents, they died before 2002. And in 2002, only my father was alive. My father also later passed away in 2016. But 2002, so since my name is not there, my only hope was to find my father's name. And unfortunately, till this day, it's a riddle. I don't know. I will eventually find out what happened. I will go to Kerala, and I have to go to Kerala to find out how is, because he was an economics professor, and after his retirement, he was very active in anti-liquor, illegal liquor, campaigning against illegal liquor, communalism. He was secretary of the Kerala Gandhi Smarak Committee. He was a Gandhian. He was, in fact, his name was Ramadas. His name was given Ramdas by Mahatma Gandhi himself, because those days during the freedom struggle, a lot of Indians used to write to national leaders saying that I have a child has born, please name my daughter or son. That used to be a regular practice. In fact, at Tamil Nadu, even now, the people write to the chief minister and all that, saying that I have a child. My grandfather wrote to Mahatma Gandhi saying that one son is born to him, so please name. Then Mahatma Gandhi wrote back. And those days, however busy that all political leaders always, public figures are always write in a card. That's the cheapest form of thing, postcard. So I don't have the card with me, but my aunts and others have confirmed this. I never used to say this story earlier because I used to say that I have been, they claim, but recently one of my father's sisters confirmed it. It is a true account. So apparently Mahatma Gandhi wrote back to my grandfather saying that naming a child is the sole right of the parent. However, I will tell you that my favorite son I have named Ramdas. And it is actually true. Mahatma Gandhi's favorite son was indeed named Ramdas. And when Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated, before that, Gandhi had written in will that my pyre should be lit by Ramdas. And Ramdas and another brother actually, though he had more than one son, Gandhi specifically wanted, because Ramdas was his favorite. Though a parent is supposed to know, but Gandhi really was more affectionate towards Ramdas. So that is how my father, why this name is very important. That's what I'm telling you. So my father was named, but then in such a person who dedicated his, was very Gandhian, he was I had some difference with about politics and other things, but in personal life, he was an excellent, because I've never seen him drink. Though I do drink, I have not been able to follow in his footsteps. But he was a complete teetotaler. Whatever he was special. He never owned a car in his life, though he always took public transport, because he thought in a country like India, everyone should use public transport. Even that was his. So until he passed away, he didn't own towards the end of his life, I bought him a small car. That also he used to he used to use it very, like, even if I used to drive some friends or somebody, or maybe one of the other. So that is towards the end of his life. He personally never owned anything. So he was a Gandhian as far as possible. He tried to live like Gandhi. So his name missing, I was very surprised. So then that means my name cannot be, though they put the SIR, they put me in the second stage called under adjudication. That is, people who can't be moved are put in under adjudication. Here, what the election commission has prescribed 11 documents. So if you have any one of those documents, then your problem will be solved. So I had a matriculation certificate, which was issued by the government of Kerala when I passed in class 10 in 1983. So I gave it to the BLO. BLO also said this is fine. He was also very confident. But when the list came out, I found that my name has been excluded. So possibly the reason has not been conveyed to me. From news reports and other thing, I think a very, very aggressive yardstick called logical discrepancies was applied. Logical discrepancies means spelling mistakes, date mismatch. Spelling mistake, actually, you can say spelling discrepancy is the more accurate phrase, because in Indian language names, there are no standardized English spellings. Like Krishna, the word, it's one of the most popular names in India. It can be spelled in many ways. So like Mukherjee, Mukhopadhyay, any name in India can be spelt in very different. So there was some discrepancy. It's not been explained to me. I suspect that in the school leaving certificate, which was not written by me, but some school official or somebody, my father's name had an extra S, I think. So that's why I said my father's name is very Ramadas. It's the actual spelling he uses Ramadas, but I think an extra S came in. So it's possible for such a minor this thing. It is, your name cannot be deleted. So what I think, it must have been machine read. Human beings would not have taken that as a big problem. One small S, extra S. But machines can't distinguish between a small mistake and for the machine, a mistake is a mistake, or a discrepancy is a discrepancy. I suspect, it's a speculation that machine reading was done. So I was excluded. concluded, and that appeal is pending. I've appealed, and that appeal is pending. But so are 27 lakh to 32 lakh appeals. And there are only 19 tribunals to look after this. So that will take we don't know when it will be. So I am in two state of uncertainty. One is SIR, my name has been removed as a voter, and citing the deletion, police refused to give me police verification. So these are two streams that suddenly it collided. That is what happened to me.
The thing is that actually my next question was about the chronology of the whole thing, but you have explained the chronology and why actually your father's reference is important, because now logical discrepancies, even as you were saying about names, my name is Paresh, and in my matriculation certificate the last H was Mitchell. And the headmaster at the time, the principal or the headmaster, he wrote it by hand. So it was obvious. So he wrote it by hand, Paresh, and I didn't face any problem anywhere because of this thing. And now I come to the fundamental question. The fundamental question, of course, so far these Malayalis and Bengalis are concerned, and the kind of similarities you are telling, this Kerala is a very humid place, so is Kolkata, and I have a good friend from Kerala. He lives he is, of course, now at the moment he is in Delhi. He works for National Book Trust. Rubin the Cruz is from Trivandrum. He's a good friend of mine. I had been to Kerala many number of times. So there are similarities, and particularly the vegetation also. Vegetation which grow in Kerala, grown in Assam and Bengal, all these things. And Bengal also, I was there for about 3 years in Jadavpur and Baligans. Actually, your house is in Baligans, is it?
Yes, Baligans, yeah.
And you are staying in that house from the beginning?
For 23 years, and before that, around 4 years, I stayed the flat downstairs.
Okay, but
now same building, but in the same flat for the 23 years. Yeah.
Well, for last 23 years, you were actually staying there, and then you are staying there. And how many elections did you vote in Calcutta, which was held in
from 2010? I voted in all. So starting from after 2010, whichever elections have been held.
You have been voting. Yeah. Now I come to the basic, what I say, that fundamental question. Logical inconsistency, and the basic purpose of the SIR, as they say, as the Election Commission says, that it's to correct the voters list, that all the errors should be removed and voters list should be a correct voter list. Now, here is a case. Because it is very. This example is your example is very important, because here is a person who was born in an Indian state. Nobody could deny that. There is absolutely no one can question that. Was born in an Indian state, was educated in an Indian state. Your father walked for, he was a very eminent name. And as you said, that he was named by Gandhiji, none other than Gandhiji. So there is absolutely no question that you are a bona fide citizen of India. Is there any question?
No. As far as I thought there was no question, but right now, if you ask me, I feel like there is some inadequacy in me, and I am no longer considered as an Indian. I feel I'm very depressed about that state, because my own government is saying that there's some problem with me, that I am not an.
That is precisely the issue. That is precisely the issue. That here is everything is obvious. everything is obvious. A person like R. Rajagopal, who was editor of a newspaper like the Telegraph, who edited this newspaper for so many years, who worked for this newspaper, who lived in the city, who voted in various elections since 2010. Now, here is a case that his name is deleted from the voters list, and subsequently he couldn't even renew his passport. Now, who should answer this question? Now, it's common sense that nobody, no authorities, nobody can say that R. Rajagopal is not a bona fide citizen of India. Nobody can say this. But then, thing is, his name was not in the voters list,
Yeah.
and he missed a very, very important occasion, family, you see, occasion in the US, because his passport was not renewed on time. Now, on the one hand, you are saying that you want to correct, you want an error-free voters list. And on the other hand, on some small pretext, you have deprived one person from his fundamental rights to vote, and you have also deprived that person. And in between, they were saying that, okay, passport is not a proof of citizenship, it's only a travel document. Now, how do you react to this situation?
Yeah, the event you are talking about is my daughter's wedding in California. It happened on April 17, and I had applied for my passport renewal on February 27, nearly 2 months before. And then I was given biometrics on March 19, and I assumed that it will be done because in my daughter's last year, my daughter's renewal also done last year, and she got it very fast. So I'm assuming I will get it like that. But to be completely honest, I had not finalized plans to go to my. I had not bought tickets or anything. My wife indeed took tickets and she could attend, but I did not. So it won't be fair to say that somebody prevented me from going around that. That the fact is that I hadn't finalized, but it is also a fact that even if I wanted to go, I finalized my decision to go. I could not have gone because the day the marriage took April 17, I didn't have a valid passport, and right now also even now I don't have a valid passport. So it is correct to say I could not have attended, but I don't want to draw too much attention to that in the sense that it is not I do not consider it because my wife was there, and personally I think in a marriage there should only be bride, groom, and four witnesses. In India, in a country like India, we should not blow up too much money on marriage, and also that is okay. That is not a and my daughter also understands things, and this is not a problem. But the other thing. The
No,
other
but here I have a question here. The question
yeah.
is, okay, because you see, because R. Rajagopal is a different kind of person. His family background is different. So he may take it, okay, your wife is attending the wedding, so
Yeah.
you didn't even buy the tickets or you were
Yeah.
not. That's a different issue altogether.
Yeah.
Okay. But the question is, normally, an ordinary
Yes, yes.
citizen.
For another, correct. Exactly. That I completely agree. Very important.
That is the
Yeah, I'm
issue.
just speaking
Now,
on this one. Exactly. That is, and in fact, you are very correct because as I've been saying, this should not be reduced to an individual. My case, it should be seen in the larger picture.
yeah,
It's about other citizens who doesn't
yeah.
have like I'm privileged because I held a post and even though I'm a former journalist, I know some journalists, so my voice will be amplified. That is not the case with millions of ordinary citizens in India, the common people. For them, marriage is probably the only instance in their life when they get to meet their other relatives or friends and celebrate. Probably their
Yes.
children's marriage is only they may not be even able to afford to celebrate a birthday, which now upper middle class people, some people now celebrate birthdays twice a year and all that in the Indian calendar and foreign calendar because they but for an ordinary or a marginalized or poor person, the wedding of a child probably is the most important event in his life.
Yes.
So that I completely accept that, and so I should not. Yeah, like you rightly pointed out. Though I try to bring down the intensity of my own personal this
Yeah,
thing, what you said is
you downplayed the
I'm
intensity
downplayed
of
it.
it. Yeah,
It is not fair in that sense. It is not fair. I should
yeah.
not have done that. I completely accept that. But for my personal experience, what hurt me like a bolt from the blue, and I was in shock that I have been denied. I have been disenfranchised technically to speak. I'm
And
not allowed to vote.
how my question is that how someone on earth in India
I can
could
do this.
disenfranchise this
I have no
deprive
idea.
a
I have
person?
no answer. And it is not like any election. It is one of the most important election West Bengal has faced. It's probably the most important election in West Bengal history. One of the most important. After the 2000 election, the 11 election, and after the 1977 election, this must be the most important. And there, I am not alone. I am living here. Some of the happiest years of my life were spent here. My children, my family. I raised my family here. We have very fond memories of Calcutta and Bengal. And and we consider it our home, and there we are not allowed to what this wound will never heal.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
and
This
then
wound will
here,
never heal.
and
Yeah,
another thing, you may not be speaking so much about yourself, but
yeah,
the outsider,
yeah,
we know who is
yeah,
our Rajagopal. We know
yeah,
what is his contribution. Now,
yeah,
a person like this, if
yeah.
he is deprived of these basic fundamental rights, now think
Ordinary,
about the other
common.
people, the
Yeah,
ordinary people. Now,
yes,
basic
yes,
question is this. Now, here is a case. That is why I want to emphasize it again and again. Here is a case who nobody can question his citizenship. Nobody can question that he is not a citizen of this country.
yeah.
If tomorrow someone comes and asks me, Boris Malagar, if whether I'm a citizen of this country or not, how do I feel? Now, rather, I will ask him, who are you to ask me this question? Isn't it?
Exactly, and I will also say that see all that I'm privileged. I belong to a journalistic fraternity. All in spite of that, until my plight became public 3 days ago, I was feeling completely helpless. I didn't know what to do. So imagine then a common man citizen. I did not know what to do because I'll tell you. 2 days ago, one BJP leader on a TV debate, I heard him say that why is he speaking on media? He should have gone to the court. It is not easy for a.
Is it
It is
easy
not
to
easy.
go to the court?
Court, that is the common people will never. You have to hire a lawyer and a writ petition if you move a high court. It is not a simple task. More important, there is another very pertinent legal issue. This passport authority, they still today they have not rejected my application. It's kept it pending. So technically the process is on. So if I go to the court will probably, rightly so, court will say that the process is on. Let a decision be taken. Then you have a grievance, you come back and contest. Unless I have a travel emergency, I have to say I have a medical emergency, I have to go. Other than that, I cannot go to a court. And why should I go to a court which for a document
It's
that is my right? Yeah.
yeah, a normal case. It should get, if you are speaking of good governance, you are speaking in a,
Exactly.
you
And
see so many good,
or if there's a criminal case against you, then you have to go to court and seek the court's
yeah.
permission. That we will do. But here so that thing is also not there. So that is why I'm saying it was utter helplessness. That is so imagine even with a person like me, if he feels utterly helpless. So imagine an ordinary in fact I could not do anything. Last 2 or 3 months, I was just the morning till evening, I am looking for documents about my parents, my mother, which year she was born, my father, because I can show something that they existed and lived. I don't have anything because I have only the death certificates. And that is police asked for death certificate, gave also, but evidently my father death certificate. Evidently that's not enough. So I thought, okay, I will collect photographs, other things. Otherwise, how do you prove? My father existed because he passed away. I can't look for the birth certificate. A long time in 1930s, he must have born. So it's been
I didn't have birth certificate. I didn't
yeah,
have
yeah.
birth
So
certificate.
India, if you don't have birth certificate, matriculation certificate is considered
Yes.
birth certificate. Even that they have found some discrepancy in that. How does one? When it's that's why I'm helpless. So that's what I'm saying. This particular issue, policy clarity. You rightly pointed out. The Election Commission has been repeatedly assuring the Supreme Court that SIR data is solely for the purpose of correcting the voters list. And so Supreme Court also said it should be used only for that purpose. And if you feel that there are some citizenship issues related to some names, you should send those names to the Union Home Ministry, and the Home Ministry will decide. You will not decide. When the Supreme Court has clearly said that, how can a city police force, Calcutta police, city police force, they are deciding that, okay, we will not give verification for people who have been deleted from SAR lists. How is this justified? So I repeatedly asked the police, can you give me a government order, memo, or anything, or on the basis of which you have taken the decision? That they will not. They said, no, that we can't give. This is the rule. You have to follow this. So that is why I'm saying there is a huge policy confusion, policy cloud surrounding around, swirling around SIR. And first they said that in Bengal that your welfare measures will be affected if you don't, if you are deleted and if you haven't appealed. In my case, my appeal is still pending, but they arbitrarily applied this SIR data and refused to give me this thing. And by the way, it is not verbal. The passport office wrote to me and gave it to me in writing, in printed this thing. They sent both in registered post and in email saying that adverse police report have been received because of deletion from SIR. It is no longer a matter of speculation, because a lot of people could not believe when I said. So when the very consensus newspaper, they write, Rajagopal alleged that he was removed because of SIR. It is not alleged. They've given it in writing. So I think this is one mistake. They may in future they may not give in writing. They may tell people, and unless the policy is clear.
No,
And
then it is good that they have given it in writing. It is good
otherwise
that they have
nobody will
given
believe
it in
me.
writing.
If
Now,
they hadn't given it in writing, when they make the allegation, they will completely deny it. So no, there was some other. Because in fact, yesterday, one newspaper carried a quote from a Calcutta police officer saying that there is some problem with my address. There's some issue. They will use the word problem. Issue with my address. It's the very same address where I've been living. The new passport, fresh passport issued in 2005, renewed in 2015. Now they found some issue. I don't know what issue it is. So see, that's what I'm saying.
And the question is, if as the Supreme Court is saying, as this election commission is saying, that okay, we just want to correct the list. Now, if we want to correct the list, what is it the correcting the list, or is it harassing the people? Because now you are saying that okay, a person like you, actually now you couldn't go to, okay, that was not a big deal for you, but then if you have wanted to go, you would not have been able to go there.
Indeed, for multiple months I have been sitting here, and I should not use medical terms loosely, but what I personally think, I was going through a depression because I was not doing anything. I was just merely staring at the window and just sitting there. And I then genuinely, I feel very reluctant to mix with my friends and others, because I think that I am somebody inadequate. I'm a non-citizen. They are all full citizens. So
who is responsible? My question is, who is responsible for putting a person like our Rajagopal into this situation, in these circumstances? Why? Who is responsible? Someone has to answer this question.
Yes, I would say we can always say election commission, but we can also say all the institutions in the country should have thought about this. It's an institution. I would say that all the institutions let me down. Because I'm standing here like this.
No, I think this issue, the denial of this thing, that what has happened to you, that's removing your name from the voters list and actually not renewing your passport. I think the election commission, for me, the election commission and Supreme Court, they should see it. They should see it, and they should take so much actually action on it. Why they should be waiting? What reasons? What evidences they need? Why?
Exactly.
So this, okay, for some unknown person, that you prove their credentials and things like that. But here is a person. Everything is very obvious. Now, is it not the case for the election commission and for the Supreme Court of India, lofty bodies? to watch
Yeah,
these
that's what I'm saying.
things.
See, the primary responsibility is with the executive, the government. The government should have immediately clarified what can be SIR can be used and not. The second, if the government, if the executive remains silent, the judiciary will have to do it. But I suspect the judiciary will feel that they are over. People will accuse the judiciary of overreaching if they step into these issues. So I think eventually it has to be the legislature, the parliament. The issue has to be raised in parliament, and the government should be persuaded to clear the air. I don't know whether it will happen or not. So
Now, yeah.
my
So,
hope is in the parliament.
okay, but do you think that, see, they have created this confusion, and in the process they have delayed this thing, particularly your case, because of your, you see, position in the Telegraph, the kind of, you see,
No, I
the
know. See, if you had asked me this question 2 days ago, I would have vehemently denied it because I don't have any evidence. And as journalists and former journalists, we should not speak without any evidence. We should not level allegation without evidence. But 2 days ago in the evening, a person associated with the INB ministry, he's an advisor, I think, he tweeted that in relation to, because the Editors Guild of India issued a statement about expressing concern about my situation. And this person tweeted that where was this Editors Guild of India when R. Rajagopal was spewing poison and ridiculing the prime minister almost every day when he was editor, and he referred to and also I was insulting other people and the ministers and all that. So obviously that when that tweet came out, a lot of people pointed out that do you need any more evidence, and some others also asked, is that a criterion? No, to preserve your citizenship, you should never criticize the prime minister. Is that a criterion? To which he hasn't replied. But this was a very telling tweet, because such a tweet was made in the middle of this discussion and controversy. Now I can say I do suspect. I don't have any other evidence. This is the only evidence. Yeah, now I do think that somebody wanted to teach me a lesson, I suppose.
so now you think that this is the
Now I
there is a
suspect. I'm
possibility.
not. I mean,
Now
I
you
suspect.
suspect
I'm
it
not.
because
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you
yeah,
see,
yeah.
during your
And
time in the,
also some of the, I don't look at this comments in this social media. Some of the people were saying that some people are claiming that I actually could not go to America because America withdrew my 10-year visa. Because I have a 10-year visa issued last year, 2024, and they said that apparently America, if they did it, I don't know, I have no idea. Second reason they said was I misbehaved
no,
with the.
now this thing, now America is not willing to issue you a visa, but then your visa is for 10 years.
It's for 10 years and it issued in 24 years, in 2024. So it's valid till 2034. 2034 it's valid. And if it is withdrawn, I have not been told about it. I don't know. So,
And
uh,
and this
and
embassy,
in
they
any
didn't
case,
say anything.
no, no, I haven't got any. And even if they withdraw, let's say, but I cannot leave the country without passport because that is the primary responsibility. No, whether I have visa or not, without a passport, I won't be. It's illegal to leave the country. That is the first point. That is the point. Then some others are saying I was sacked from the newspaper because I stole money. So this is kind of abuse has been going on in the last 48 to 72 hours. This is also going on. So
Now, as because someone who was in the newspaper, who edited a very prestigious newspaper, and who did the real journalism, and now he is, if you suspect it, but then I have a actually deep feeling that they have actually made you undergo this thing. It's only because of that. Otherwise, it's very obvious. Yeah,
um,
this is my feeling, because I have been reading
yeah,
Telegraph, and
if somebody did that, actually, it's a waste of time because I don't matter anymore. My career as a journalist is over. I'm a former journalist now. I don't work anywhere. If I work elsewhere at but so I don't do anything. So why did they waste their time and energy on me? I don't know. Then it's I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense.
now we shall not speak much on that line. But
Yeah,
my
yeah.
question is, now you see, these people can go to any extent. They have no limit. But our fundamental question today is, and from this platform also, the basic question is that you cannot question the citizenship credential of R. Rajagopal.
Yeah.
It's beyond question. Now, if his his name is not there in the voters list, there is something seriously wrong
Yeah.
with the process, with the SIR process.
Yeah.
And it may happen to, who knows, maybe those 27 lakhs people, maybe
Yeah.
majority of them. If majority of these cases are like this, now the election commission should think.
Yes.
Now it is for them to think that, okay, what
Because
this S.
large parts of the country are yet to be now. Karnataka just started yesterday, so very big state. Karnataka, the SIR started yesterday, so it will be spread region. So it will affect each and every Indian. So the, there has to be clarity on these matters.
Yes,
Otherwise,
they
it's a
have
very
to.
opaque. Okay, we still don't know what actually is the actual definition of logical discrepancy. The news report said spellings. We don't know. I don't know at
Yes.
least. So so
So it's a opaque kind of thing. There's no
yeah,
clarity, nothing. And
nothing.
that is why from actually now this, of course, as you said, that is an executive responsibility. They should correct it immediately.
Yeah.
But if they have not done it, and now you are actually running this thing for how long? For how many months?
Which one? My issue passport issue.
Yeah.
I applied in February 27 and I was given an biometrics appointment was done in 19th of March. So I think they calculate from 19th of March, though technically I applied on February 27. So
So
19th of
February,
March,
March,
19th March means
April.
it was 100 days last Friday, it became 100 days if you consider from 19 days. So now it's today's 103, 103rd day or 104th day.
So now this is the question. Now, okay, it is the executive responsibility, but for last 100 days, we do not see any development. So far, your case is there, and they say that they it's pending, and the passport office has called you when
Uh,
regional
uh,
passport office.
Originally or last.
Now that
No,
they,
no.
they
So what had happened was when on the 17th, when they informed me in writing that adverse police report had come, they had asked me to go and meet them. But after booking an appointment, this is on 17th of June. So when I booked an appointment, I was given an appointment on 17th of July, exactly a month later, 17th July. But after the controversy, everything happened on 2 days ago. That is Monday. Monday evening around 6 o'clock. One gentleman called me and he said that he is an official from the regional passport office, and he said I should send him a email saying that the police re-verification should be done. So I did it immediately. And yesterday evening, around 6 or 7, yesterday evening, the state on my passport tracker, when you apply, there will be you can see check your status. So there now it's written that police report has been submitted and action to start printing has been initiated. So it looks like it's been in the last stage, but I still haven't got it in my hand, so I don't know whether last minute.
So that means they are taking action on it. That
It
means
looks
they
like
are,
it. There
yeah,
definitely it looks
it's
like
like
it.
that. But then
Yeah,
But then when it came to public domain, when actually
yeah,
things become open, then only they are doing it. Now, how
yeah.
many people have this? How many people are so resourceful that they can go
Exactly.
to the public, they can go to
Exa-
the press,
True,
they are
true.
known outside.
Yeah.
No, no.
And in
So
my case, actually, the Chief Minister of Kerala intervened, the opposition leader intervened, the Congress party.
yes, I saw that. Yeah, yeah.
So this is not possible for every common ordinary person. It's not. How many times can a chief minister take a look at it? See, first there is a novelty value. After the other everybody else also. If it keeps happening, everybody will lose interest also.
Yes, yes, yes.
After 4 or 5 cases, the bill say, "ये होता है, मैंने चलता है," it becomes like that.
Now, finally, I just want to say one thing.
Yeah,
Maybe whatever they were saying, this within someone who actually stood steadfast in his journalistic career, maybe he is facing this drama, but then people have to be there, no? Isn't it? People have to stand.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that way, at least for I felt helpless in the last 100 days. But once it became public, I was overwhelmed by the response of the people. So that also shows if all of us stand together, everybody can make a difference. Everybody has a contribution to make. We need to speak up constantly. We should not fear authority. We should speak up. That is a lesson, big
That
lesson from this.
that's very very important. I think that's
Yeah,
very important. Now,
yeah,
finally, just this
mm,
is my last question.
yeah.
So, as a citizen, what do we learn from this episode?
See, the biggest lesson is I realized that individuals are completely helpless. As an individual, I did not know what to do, and this legal option and all that. Not even a person like me, because see, I don't earn any salary now. Well, the last 1 year I don't, and I'm living off my savings. So, are my savings meant to be used on issues like this, of going to court and for basic right which I should be given? So that is. So I realize that I'm helpless. Number two, the mainstream media, I think, has not adequately covered the entire, not my issue, SIR. They've been doing individual stories, but wholesome they are not doing. Whereas online media, social media, they're doing excellent work. And this issue also, my issue was actually originally picked up by online media. Because it is, I did not write for an article or anything. I wrote a letter to a jury of an award committee saying that I will be unable to be part of it. I was a member last year. They asked me, that's why the date coincides, because 4 days ago they asked me to become a jury member this year also. Then I wrote a letter to me explaining why I can't. One, I'm busy chasing paperwork for this. Number two, I'm completely disappointed with the mainstream media. So if I sit on a jury that is judging the works of journalists, then I am very prejudiced and biased against traditional media, mainstream media, the big papers. So, but there will be a lot of good journalists there also. There definitely are good journalists in mainstream media also. So, it is an unfair advantage to them, because among the jury member, there's one person who is completely biased against them. So, it's not fair to them. So, I told them I don't want to be part of it. So, in that letter, I wrote in detail what happened. So, then one of the jury members, because they were very senior journalists, and they realized the gravity of situation. They called me and asked me, is it okay to make public the relevant part? So with my consent only, they made it public. That is how it happened. And again, this also proves, because
And when was it? When was it? When did it become public?
last Friday.
Last Friday.
Just Friday. Yeah, last Friday evening. So what I'm saying, I had approached one or two editors not to do my story, but asking them, are you aware that their police are asking for some serving at least one editor, and some other journalists in Delhi also, they are aware of it. But all of them did not show any interest, and not in doing my story. At least they should check with if it is a widespread this thing, or if it is not, then have asked government for a clarification. They did not show any interest. That's exactly why I'm saying I'm very disenchanted with that. So it is only because of all new media and social media it became an issue. So to complete my answer, this issue also shows that if people, it is now fashionable to say that media is irrelevant. Media doesn't have any influence. Media doesn't, but that's not correct. When media, everybody stands together and raise their voice, it will, civil society, media together. And in my instance, the balance of power has actually shifted from mainstream media to social media. It is social media that's been more impactful, because mainstream media covered me and all that. And today, some papers have written editorials also, but they were largely covering the events that were happening around me. Somebody issued a statement, they will carry. But social media, it was not like that. For example, that a portal called The Wire. The Wire carried a commissioned article by Mr. Sanjay Hegde. Very there he has just mentioned me, but he has covered the larger picture of what it means. That is what we want. This is not my individual issue. The thing is the larger picture. So these are the lessons. One is, if we individual is helpless, but together we can. I think if we raise our voice, we can make a difference. It's a lesson for opposition also. When the opposition stays divided, they must realize the folly of that. Divided, they won't be able to achieve anything. Unity is the only this thing. And then the third, most important point is, it is now what I fear what is going to happen is, most probably, the way the my status is recorded, I think I may get the passport. I haven't got it, but once I get a passport, the media will declare a victory and they will move on to the next issue. But that is not the I will consider it a victory only when the government comes out, or somebody in either parliament, judiciary, or the executive comes out with a very clear statement saying that SIR can be used only for the purpose it was stated. Otherwise, I will consider. But even that is not enough. At least that is that's a small victory, I will say, because the full victory will be SIR process has to be made completely transparent. It's very opaque now. We don't know what is happening. These are very, very large issues. So I am not hopeful of a full and complete victory, but at least if a policy clarity can be obtained, I would have said that my effort hasn't gone vain. Just me getting passport, it's one of the least important factors of this whole thing. But at least if I get my passport there, even if there is policy silence, it's an indirect acknowledged by the government that what they did is wrong. What the police did was wrong, though they will never admit it.
No, because you see that now that when it became public, they are compelled to say this. The appointment was given in July, so now they send you a mail and they said that okay, the imprinting process is on. So it is definitely when it came out in the public that is it has actually compelled them. That is how it has happened. Otherwise, God knows how many days they would have taken and how long it would have been delayed like this. So I do not want to draw any conclusion right now, but then people who would watch this interview, this conversation, they should draw their own conclusion from the entire thing, isn't it? Now we shouldn't draw any conclusion. Now we have discussed everything very openly. Now people, the viewers, I leave it to the viewers what actually what lesson they draw from your this particular case. But then I must be grateful to you because you so readily agreed to speak to me when I sent you the message.
No, I must say I'm actually honored because you are the first media personality or influencer from the Northeast to have me on a program like this. So I'm very grateful to you because I've spoken to all of the regions, including BBC did a Punjabi version of my interview with them also. But in the Northeast, this is my first. So I'm very, the Northeast is one of the places I really admire and respect. And so I'm really grateful for you to give me.
I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased to hear this. And we'll, of course, there will be some occasion in the future where we'll have conversation on different issues.
Okay.
So thank you. Thank you very much for being with us. Okay.